everybody. What's up? Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Tarot Solution Shy Podcast. I'm Stephanie Gold, your host, and I have a super special guest this evening, a very esteemed person in my life, Miss Iya Baba No Ke. Hey, she's joining us remotely. If you just want to say hi.
Hi.
So thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I know that the topic is actually going to be a 3-part series, so you guys tune in next week as well and the following. But tonight we're going to start off, and the series is about demystifying the Afro-Caribbean religion and spirituality and the Latino culture. So we're going to break that down, and before we do that, Iwa, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? I know it's a lot, but just let the people know.
Yeah, I'm going to break it down. So I grew up in the Christian tradition, and then it wasn't until, I always was different, even in Christianity, but I was always seeing and hearing things even as a child. And so I kind of put that to the side growing up, because you just don't talk about hearing or seeing things. You're like crazy. You're not
right.
Like that, right? And so it wasn't until I had kind of a life-altering surgery that I really came into the practice of espiritismo, Puerto Rican or Caribbean spiritism, and the not Kardashians, but in the, like through Alan Kardec, right? And that tradition.
Yep.
And really to Santeria. And so it wasn't until that time in my life, and I always say that it wasn't my time to use my gifts until after that surgery. And so it's been kind of a growing period since then. So it's about 10 years that I've been actively practicing Afro-Caribbean traditions. As a Santera, I'm an official Santera. I went through the whole year of initiation and wearing white. And I'm still in training as an espiritista. I think we're always in training as espiritistas, right? So that's pretty much a little bit about me.
No, well, thank you so much for sharing that. So I just have so much respect for you and everything that you've done. No, I know that you wouldn't share a lot, but you're a published author, you're a poet, so you're awesome. So I just, I'm excited to have you as a guest. So this topic that you wanted to address people on, how, the way that I wanted to start out was the first thing. I know a lot of people now, it's really in fashion and it's popular, and not necessarily that it's in fashion, but it's catching on. A lot of people are becoming more aware of those types of paths, and a lot of people are beginning to discover, and a lot of people are calling themselves a bruja or a brujo. What is brujeria in the Afro-Caribbean spiritual practice?
So technically, like, the way I was raised with it, right? It's bad. Brujeria. It's like dark works to manipulate people to love you, or for you to get money, or for you to move ahead in the world. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, I think that really, as young women are coming back into learning about themselves, learning about culture, especially for Latinos, I think it's kind of like taking on the term bruja is like, it's an act of feminism. It's an act of resistance to today's political context. Mm-hmm. I think that it's decolonization of an idea, of a sexist and negative construct of what it is to be a woman and female as inferior. And this is really reclamation of cultural taboo, and flipping it to create a sense of power and to reconnect with the heritage that people are really seeking to own and to know. Right. That's been eradicated, like through Christianity and through colonization. And so it's almost like, I don't know if you've seen the T-shirts, like, we are the granddaughters of the witches you tried to burn, because really that's what happened to women who were in power. They were burned. They were deemed crazy. Estates were taken from them. So that's basically what I see it to be now. But yeah, like brujeria, even today, even in society, even, in our practice, it's still bad. And the thing is that people think that santeros are brujos. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. I think that understanding that some of the work that we do in Santeria is really part of a spiritual practice that can be, that corresponds to ancient tradition, connected, like in the Old Testament and in the Torah, with animal sacrifice. And I think people misconstrue that idea of animal sacrifice as brujeria, when really it's a beautiful act of providing support to the deities that we practice with in Santeria. So
right. So that's what I wanted to go into next. Is now that you've established the definition or your definition of brujeria as a santera, how is brujeria a part of your daily practice? And can you explain to people, because you did mention that people mix the two, people confuse the two. You don't have to go far to see that. So I wanted to know how is brujeria incorporated into your life, and what is the difference between practicing your spiritual practice and also practicing brujeria?
Ooh, okay. So for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, how I have to separate the two, because Santeria, right, is the practice of honoring Orisha. And if people don't know who are Orisha are the deities, the seven, well, there are many Orisha, but these are the main 7 deities connected to the practice of Santeria. Mm-hmm. And so I am a priestess of one of those. One of them is my tutelary Orisha, Obatala. So I'm priestess to Obatala. And so brujeria I don't connect brujeria to Santeria. Santeria is my spiritual practice. People go to church on Sunday. I, as a priestess, have church in my home. Right. Now there's conjure. Mm-hmm. And conjure work, right, can be considered brujeria. And people are like, who am I to be conjuring? That comes from the African diaspora. And I have to remind people, I am of the African diaspora. I am Afro-Caribbean. I am of the African diaspora. So I do conjure work, but that conjure mm-hmm. work I also corresponds the way I have to do it in the way I have to live my life, and as it's been dictated through my Santeria for me is mm-hmm. I can work and conjure with Orisha, and I cannot veer, and it from that path, and it's for good, and it's for protection. It's not to do bad or harm, but it's really to honor and just kind of connect with Orisha and continue to have them work with and for me.
Okay, definitely. So for somebody who is just beginning, who hasn't been initiated in any one path, and who is just wanting to learn more about conjure, what would you say are some of the do's and don'ts, that you would advise them?
So, do we have a lot of time? How much time do we have?
We have 7 minutes left.
Okay. So,
and we have next week too. So, if we go over, we can go.
So, one thing that I'm going to say, I think everybody gets inspired by a movie. For, my generation, it was The Craft, right? In the 90s. I think I was a little bit older, but that was really everybody's going to be a witch. I think some of those things are really awesome, but understanding what path you want to take, because there's a lot of different paths. And there's a variation, there's Wicca, and then there's the heathens, and then there's Order of the Golden Dawn. It's
Pagans.
Not just witchcraft, right? The pagan pantheons, right? There's so many pantheons. It's start reading and asking questions, and ask questions of people. Don't just start practicing, because you may open the portal to something you are not prepared to deal with. And it's happened to many friends of mine who started when they were young. So read and ask questions of elders. Seek information from people, because you can read everything, but just reading is not going to give you all the information. I think that even in our tradition, in Santeria, right, Lukumi, the greatest wealth of information that you're going to get is from your elders. So seek out elders, and be really careful with that too, because not everybody has good intentions. But read, find out, and don't appropriate. I once practiced heavily with Santa Muerte, but that's because she's a Mexican deity. I am not Mexican, but she came to me, and so I with great respect, I practiced with her, right? Until I was told not to through my practice. However, don't appropriate. There are a lot of spiritual practices that are appropriate from Native American culture or from Asian culture. Respect the culture that you're interested in following. I think that every culture has its practice, so delve into your own before you delve into somebody else's, just out of respect. Ask, educate yourself. I think that's really important.
Okay, and what are some places, say that if somebody is just starting out and they're not familiar with any elders in their area, it is a issue that they're not, swindled and stuff. What is a good place where they can begin to educate themselves?
I would say, Facebook is an interesting space, but I think that to start reading, and I guess, I think that the greatest thing about the internet is it's a blessing and a curse, because you can connect with good people and you can connect with people who don't have the best interest. But I think follow your gut, follow your instinct. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
And if it doesn't sound right, and if it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. I've met so many wonderful people through the internet, but it's, I've just listened to my gut. So, definitely research, but just, common sense. If somebody's saying, yeah, I'll teach you, but you have to do X, Y, and Z, or you have to pay this amount of money, don't.
It's a red flag, yeah.
Yeah, those red flags, yeah. Pay attention.
That's interesting, too, because I know that when I first began following my path, there were certain people that I watched on YouTube, and at the same time, you're developing your discernment and your intuition, so you're going to use that in seeing who, that you're going to listen to.
Absolutely. Listen. Part of having this gift is listening. Part of being part of this practice is listening to the guides that walk with you. And if you're really feeling like you're being pushed into this path that's non-Christian, right? Because it's what it is. Just listen, and just have common sense when you practice.
Awesome. Yes. No, well, thank you so much for sharing all of this evening. I know we're going to continue next week, but thank you again. Where can people reach out to you and check out your page and see anything? Where do you want to lead them to?
You can personally connect with me on Facebook under Sandra Santiago. I go through my regular name, but I also have a spiritual page. It's called Of Wings and Warriors, and there's all kinds of information on there. I seek to educate. I'm not asking for any money. It's just articles and education and the demystification of a lot of these practices, because there's a lot more we have in common than are different. And so I kind of bring a lot of these practices to light, and just articles that will help inform for anybody who's seeking. It's a safe place just to get information.
That's awesome.
I also have an Etsy page. It's Botanica Ashe, and so we can link those up to your Facebook page.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna put that on there so that you guys can click on there and check it out. And thank you again so much. So definitely everybody tune in next week. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great night.